Hi everybody, welcome back to Delorado Review. This is another episode of Red. Remember, everyone deployed. And today, I just want to say thank you. Here's to all you who are still out there in the field. God bless you, and we're all thinking of you. And with that, you know what? I'm going to start doing a sort of hero of the day. To sort of honor you guys who are out there doing the job. It's hard, it's dirty, and someone's got to do it. I'm happy it's you, because you're the best at what you do. So if you're out there, be safe, and this is for you. Cheers. That being said, you know, I'm trying to make this a habit. I'm trying to make good habits in my life, and one of those habits is going to be the hero of the day, which is going to be on my Red episode. But you know, it's gonna be hard to do. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to the channel and keep me accountable. Let me know if you like this or dislike this, and if you do dislike it, you know, let me know in the comments what you think of it. Let's have discussions down there. It'd be nice to hear what you think. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video for the promo code for the affiliate link in the description below, and let's get into it. Today's hero of the day is Sergeant First Class Alwyn Crendall Cashe. You may have heard his name before, or you may not have, depending on what circles you run in, but has been making a lot of big waves recently because his Silver Star has, in the last year or so, had a lot of headway towards being made a Medal of Honor. And that upgrade comes with congressional and presidential support. Part of the problem with his upgrade was the January 6th riot, the storming of the Capitol. And because of that, very specifically, there was a major delay. Former President Trump was unable to sign the actual House bill, which had passed the Congressional House and Senate, and as of right now, his status is still unknown for that upgrade to the Medal of Honor. So he is still just a Silver Star recipient, but notwithstanding the Silver Star, this man is an absolute badass. And I mean that in every sense of the word. From Floridaman who graduated high school in 1988 to joining the U.S. Army and serving very close to 20 years. He has a resume that is as long as most Floridaman rap sheets. It's long, okay? But I'm gonna save that to the end, because Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cashe deserves his story told. And if you do me the favor of listening, I really believe that this man is worthy 100 times over of our Medal of Honor. And it's not the most important medal that he received, but it outlines that he lived the core values of the U.S. Army. Now, when I was in that, those core values were loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, personal courage, and honor. It was known as the leadership model, and leadership is exactly what Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cashe exemplified throughout his career. From joining the military and excelling at what he did, from being a drill sergeant on the trail in the 3rd Infantry Division, he served as a leader in most of his career. And before he was sent to Iraq for the 3rd time, he was deployed again in 2005. And with the leadership skills that he possessed, he did an amazing job of keeping his men alive, which is an absolute credit to his character. His men used to call him Big Brother, because he took care of them so well. As a soldier who was also deployed during 2005, I know that the value of that leadership at the small unit level is incredible. Sergeant First Class Cashe was serving as the gunner on his Bradley fighting vehicle during a route clearance in 2005 on October 17th. He was traveling from Forward Operating Base in Balad at Fob McKenzie south to another town called Daliaya along Route Jamie in order to provide route clearance. Now, Sergeant First Class Cashe was the gunner. He was the most experienced soldier in the Bradley fighting vehicle, the armored fighting vehicle. Sergeant Cashe had a driver, 6 soldiers in the back, and an Iraqi interpreter. So during this route clearance, for mechanical reasons, they experienced a vehicle falling out of their convoy. Sergeant First Class Cashe and his crew went to investigate. Now, this was one of the deadliest years in the Iraq War. One of 3, actually. 2005, 2006, and 2007 were the deadliest years of the Iraq War. They were absolutely devastating to U.S. troops, especially people who were very mobile. Anybody who traveled on the roads in those years could tell you that the biggest threat that faced soldiers at the time was IEDs, roadside bombs, improvised explosive devices that could defeat armor. They had victim detonated ones with pressure plates, and just a plethora of creative ways with which to mount these devices to literally everything from telephone poles to guardrails to vehicles to people, dead animals. I mean, it was devastating, but it was effective. And you know, as an army that respects their enemy, we adapted, we overcame, but the threat never really ended. And it was horrendously effective. 2005 was really the uptick in the use of IEDs, and after Sergeant Cashe's vehicle left the NMC, the non-mission capable vehicle, shortly after that, his vehicle was struck by an IED, initiating a complex ambush. Now, a Bradley fighting vehicle, or infantry fighting vehicle, is half armored personnel carrier, half tank. It is much, much thinner armor than an actual tank. They usually used as scout vehicles. They're lighter, they're faster, and they're capable of packing a little bit of a punch, but with their advanced onboard systems, they're mostly used for reconnaissance roles, or delivering an infantry squad to the fight and then backing off to provide support. Sergeant First Class Cashe's vehicle was struck catastrophically by a roadside bomb, which detonated the fuel cells in the vehicle, immediately drenching everyone in the vehicle in flames and fuel. A absolutely deadly cocktail. Now, as the gunner of the vehicle, Sergeant First Class Cashe did sustain injuries, but it was far, far less than the other people who were far closer to the explosion themselves. Sergeant First Class Cashe was able to brush off his injuries and put out any flames he may have had on him immediately, and climb down to the driver's hatch and assisted him in getting out of the vehicle as soon as possible. Sergeant Cashe's actions were so quick that he was able to put out the flames on the driver and not have any of those flames get onto him in his fuel-soaked clothes already. With the driver out of the vehicle, Sergeant First Class Cashe knew immediately that his next action was to get to the men in the back. He knew that the hatch was not down, and after climbing off the vehicle, understood that the vehicle was beginning to catch fire. By the time he had reached the hatch in the back, he realized that the vehicle had become completely engulfed in flames. And with complete disregard to his own safety, perhaps not even realizing that he was soaked in fuel, pried open the troop hatch on the back lift gate and managed to reach in and pull out a soldier. After delivering that soldier a safe distance from the vehicle, which was now completely engulfed in flames and on fire himself, he helped the soldier put out that soldier's flames and then returned to the vehicle to continue getting soldiers out of there. He had 5 more guys to get and an Iraqi interpreter. Not knowing if any of them were alive and facing a wall of flames, Sergeant First Class Cashe disregarded the immense pain that he was already starting to feel, having become engulfed in flames himself, and rushed back to the vehicle. Now the driver and 1 soldier are out of the vehicle. Sergeant First Class is rushing back to the vehicle to grab another soldier. The trailing Bradley had finally arrived with its crew, who got out and started to help with the casualty evacuation, or CASEVAC. Sergeant First Class Cashe did not give up. Sergeant Cashe did not give up. He continued to rush back into the flames, continually on fire, and continually pulling men out of that vehicle. He got all 6 soldiers out of the vehicle and the Iraqi interpreter. In the face of enemy fire and the extreme heat and flames that had engulfed this vehicle, which was full of ammunition and probably ready to cook off. Cooking off being the temperature it takes a flame to heat up ammunition inside the vehicle and fuel reserves to the point where they combust and explode. The absolute disregard for safety, personal safety, the absolute disregard for one of man's most feared moments, entering a fire. I mean, we all learn as children, if something's hot, don't touch it. But the ability to tell your mind to shut up and just go because you love your buddies so much that you'd do anything for them is exactly why Sergeant First Class Cashe went back time and time again to pull his buddies out of the flames. And I've tried to calculate this in my mind time and time again. It is unfathomable how much pain that man was in. And each time he went back, he must have been more so. I mean, these are critical minutes to get those guys out. Shortly after the 2nd Bradley arrived, the 1st Sergeant arrived with additional support, and the unit began providing absolute security, laying down the hate on the enemy who was using this complex ambush to kill Americans, and evacuating the most critically wounded. 7 soldiers were evacuated immediately at that point, out of the 10 who were wounded in the initial contact. Sergeant First Class Cashe was the worst of those critically wounded, with over 72% of his body being burned, with multiple wounds from the initial explosion. But he managed to save the lives of 6 of his soldiers, and that meant the world to him. The translator, unfortunately, was KIA, but that didn't matter to Sergeant First Class Cashe. He did it anyway. Of the 7 soldiers evacuated immediately to Balad Air Base, 4 of them returned back immediately to Brooke Army Medical Center in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Of the 4, Staff Sergeant George Alexander Jr., Sergeant Michael Robertson, Specialist Darren Howe, and Sergeant First Class Alwyn C. Cashe were in the ICU until they perished. Sergeant First Class Cashe was able to hang on all the way until October 8th, 2005, in tremendous pain because he knew he needed to be there for his men. Unfortunately, he too passed away. But he was the last casualty of that incident. And if it wasn't for his heroic actions that day, almost assuredly we would have lost 10 great Americans. And so for his heroic actions, he was awarded the Silver Star. Later down the road, upon the persistence of his family, his wife and children, his sister, Congress pushed forward on upgrading his Silver Star to a Medal of Honor. On November 10th, 2020, the Senate authorized a path forward for Sergeant Alwyn Cashe's Medal of Honor. On December 4th of 2020, the President signed H.R. 8276, which authorizes the President to posthumously award the Medal of Honor to Alwyn C. Cashe for acts of valor during the Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now, the biggest hurdle that they had to overcome was the 6-month grace period between the awarding of a Silver Star and upgrading it to a Medal of Honor. They had to overcome that with some waivers and things like that, but because of the riots, President Trump was unable to sign the actual upgrade. So it is expected to be signed under President Biden, but now Biden's been in the White House for a good long while, and we're still waiting. So write your Congress people, write the President himself, the White House. Get involved. Go to Sergeant First Class Cashe's Facebook page. You can find plenty of support links there. I know that the family is still trying to move this forward, and I truly believe that he is a hero and deserves the Medal of Honor. The recognition, at least, for the sacrifice that he made on that fateful day. And knowing that he was in country at the time, I was there, really kind of puts my heart at ease that there were so many people that were so great at the time doing the hardest missions for the right reasons. It's really an honor to know that Sergeant Alwyn Cashe is going to be upgraded to the Medal of Honor. So that's all I've got for you guys. If you like this one, hit the like button, subscribe. We'll try to do more like this. I'd like to take a moment and just reflect on Sergeant Cashe. What a legend. And actually in the hospital, he is stated as having wanted to get out of the Army, but while he was in the hospital had decided to stay in the Army to make his 20 years and retire because of how strongly he felt about the soldiers under his watch. And I think it's just an incredible career and a legacy that is going to last the test of time. Fort Stewart, Georgia dedicated a building to him. I know that there's a highway somewhere that was dedicated to Sergeant Cashe, and the post office in Oviedo, Florida, which is where he's from, or spent most of his. The high school he graduated was from Oviedo, so he may have lived there most of his life. I know that's his hometown. So, Florida man for the win. Happy Friday, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and please use Team Delo. If you use the link down below after checkout for a sweet discount. I'll see you all in the next one. Delorado out.